Thank you.
So we are following up on our topic from aware of being aware. And we're going to go into moods and states of mind today. And this is a part of the Dharma. It's in the Satipatthana Sutta, which is the four foundations of mindfulness. And where this is placed in that sutta, it's the third foundation. And it's often talked about as mindfulness of mind. But we're going to or contemplation of mind. But we're going to point in the direction of awareness of the quality of mind, the state of mind, and maybe even call it in our language, the moods of our body minds.
As I said last week, this awareness of awareness was always this puzzle that I was trying to figure out. And I felt like this morning I figured it out. It is the mood with which being aware of the mood or the quality that we are being aware in. That is being aware of the awareness. So I was really happy when it sort of all came together after decades of trying to figure out, unpuzzle
That's
puzzle.
that's a nice mood, isn't it? Happy to.
Yes, it's a nice mood to feel like finally I'm no longer. It's an elevated mood indeed. Um, so moods are prevalent, they're powerful, and sometimes they're overpowering.
Right. Even when they're subtly perceived or a little bit more unconscious, they still have strong impetus, strong force.
And I think your word was subtle, and I think how I interpret that, understand that, is that it's kind of like moods become, it's so the atmosphere, like, the cliche, the air we breathe, or, it's not just a cliche, but, if there's some toxins in the air, we might not notice it if they're not real strong toxins, and yet they are impacting us. And so it is subtle in that way that we can't always pick it up. But part of our what we're engaged in here in reflective meditation is trying to pick it up some more.
Right. So jumping off of that, because the air we breathe, Nelly, one of your favorite analogies is like a drop of dye in the water colors the water. And maybe it's, again, very subtle. You can't even pick up that yellow, but it's there and it affects the other contents of the mind. So we came up with this direction of moods shape our perception. And in that perception, the moods have different colors and they color the cognition, they color our thinking, they color our stories, they color our understandings, and they color our truths, what we think are truths and values.
And then our actions, right? Based on
And
that,
then, yeah,
we take or don't take certain actions. They really are quite potent.
right,
Um, And
right.
probably everybody's had that experience of waking up feeling depressed, if you want to use a more clinical term, feeling yucky, if you want to use a less clinical term. And it really does color like, oh, what am I going to do today or not do? I mean, or many other moods we could choose.
Right, right. I mean, one mood that often we're trained in meditation practice is to be neutral, to be kind of equanimous with our situation, so that there's a sense of that training can even feel like, oh, we're just fine with everything. It's okay. But to see that as a mood is really kind of getting underneath how we're perceiving that experience and how it's shaped by that training.
Right. So here are a few other examples, like when you're feeling irritated, others can appear irritating. That is probably something many of us have experienced, dare I say, often in our primary relationships, but also in
Well,
other relationships.
yeah, and even like I would say it can extend to other senses, like when we're irritated or have strong irritation, sounds that maybe have been pleasant before can be very irritating. We could actually not like our food so much. It just like all the senses can be impacted.
That's a good point. I immediately went to smell. Oh my God, when
Right.
I'm feeling irritated, certain smells just drive me up a wall.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to tell all my experiences with that, but I totally relate, Nellie. Yeah.
Yeah, we better not get into that. That
Yeah.
could be too depressing. Um, or yucky. We don't, our goal is not to bring people down. Okay. But, and as I sort of said, sadness, it colors things a lot, or depression, but one sort of specific way it does it is the future can really appear bleak. Um,
Right. Right. And that can feel real,
right.
true. You might
Absolutely.
even fight for that position. And to start to see that as, oh, that's my mood. Oh, that's the mood that's predominant here. Maybe I can question that, or maybe I don't have to believe it so strongly or hold on to it so rigidly.
Right. Or make a whole thing around it, a whole,
Yeah.
write a blog about it or what have you.
Well, that goes to the next one because in enthusiasm, your possibilities expand and you want to say more about them and there's more hope and there's more of a direction and you would write a blog about this to help others see your point of view because yeah.
Right. And that is that too is distorted. And to just, it's not that you try to, well, you might try to eliminate some of these moods, but like enthusiasm, maybe you don't want to eliminate that, or maybe even in sadness, grief is a good thing to feel sad.
Mm-hmm.
There's things to feel sad about, and there really are things that are irritating, these three examples.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but enthusiasm maybe is almost the most seductive of all.
Mm-hmm.
This is the way it is. But it's good to see that as also distorted
Right.
with some truth to it.
Right.
There are possibilities.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the reasons we're following up with this topic is because we started thinking about it and then we went to look in our book for more examples to help fill out this conversation. And we couldn't find much. In fact, probably nothing. And then we looked in Revamp, Quentin Higgins' book about the Satipatthana Sutta. And again, not much being said there. So it's like, well, let's fill this out where there's not much information. Let's talk about it a little bit more and see how our experience of moods shaping our perception, um, what's really happening, what's going on in our experience so that we can write a blog about it. No, I'm
I'm
kidding.
feeling very enthusiastic about it, actually. I
There
am
we
in a mood,
go.
and that mood is overshadowing my, my fatigue and other things that are going on. Yeah. Um,
In some ways, that kind of points to another part of our practice that moods and how they're shaping our perception and our experience. They're often noticed more in reflection, and our practice has us actually articulate that noticing and actually um, that we can experience the content of our lives in different moods, in different ways, and from different perspectives. For me, that was revolutionary when I first started meditating. That was my hook, line, and sinker into kind of continuing this practice.
mhm. And, as a final statement, it's not like there's just one mood, of course. There can be many
No.
moods. It's not like, I'm just irritated or I'm just sad, but we talk about it this way because perhaps it's easier to pick up the more dominant ones.
Right. So that's our ending of our conversation today. And